Well, did DeSoto Parish Sheriff deputies bank overtime cash for hours they didn't work? KSLA News 12 Chief Investigative Reporter Stacey Cameron spent, 2 months digging into a suspended ticket writing program in DeSoto Parish, the same type of overtime program some Louisiana state troopers are accused of abusing. Stacey's uncovered information showing payroll problems in that sheriff's office may be far more widespread than initially thought. Stacey.
Doug, that's absolutely right. One deputy has already retired and 2 more have resigned over the controversy. And after pouring through thousands of documents, I learned there is reason to worry that overtime abuse possibly ran deep in DeSoto Parish.
My investigation began at the DeSoto Parish Sheriff's office in a back room, reviewing LACE records from July to December of 2016. I narrowed my focus to 6 current deputies, ones consistently billing a high number of overtime hours. Comparing LACE timesheets with the corresponding tickets, red flags popped up immediately when I found deputies claiming overtime on the interstate without writing a single ticket for hours on end.
The expectation would be to write at least 1 to 2 tickets per hour.
2 former DeSoto Parish Sheriff deputies, speaking on condition I hide their identity and disguise their voices,
It was very widespread.
told me some deputies got paid for hours they did not work by simply writing in false starting times.
Those times people would supposed to work the detail at 5 in the morning and not actually hitting the interstate till 10 or 11.
This timesheet is just one example of dozens I discovered. Here, a deputy writes 1,600 hours or 4 p.m. as the shift start time, but 3 hours and 18 minutes pass before issuing his first ticket at 7:18 p.m. Another example shows a deputy clocking in at noon, yet no tickets are written until 3 hours and 34 minutes later at 15:34 hours or 3:34 p.m.
How widespread was this in the department?
Very. Not all deputies did it, but there were quite a few that did.
While stretches of time can pass on I-49 when no one speeds,
It's possible for it to happen a day or two, but it definitely shouldn't be a pattern.
going through documents, I've found examples of another pattern. Deputies writing all their tickets in clusters, then recording no LACE activity on the back end of their shift while still claiming to work overtime. For example, records show this deputy writing all his LACE tickets 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours before clocking off the detail on multiple occasions.
There were no checks and balances.
Claiming department supervisors paid little attention to LACE, these former deputies say their colleagues frequently left overtime posts on I-49 early to do other things.
Deputies going to softball games while on that detail and, basketball games, things like that.
So billing for hours, overtime hours that they didn't actually work.
That's correct.
At first, Sheriff Rodney Arbuckle agreed to sit down on camera and talk to me. But after I finished reviewing LACE documents, the sheriff denied my request for an interview. In this email, the sheriff tells me he can't comment because an outside agency is now investigating. But that outside agency isn't the DeSoto Parish DA, because the district attorney tells me when it comes to LACE, the sheriff hasn't been very cooperative.
He contacted me on January 18th, almost a month ago, and said he was going to send some files over for me for my review. And as of this date, they've not come.
That's District Attorney Gary Evans. The sheriff called him around the same time Arbuckle wrote the Louisiana Legislative Auditor. Copying DA Evans to the letter, Arbuckle writes, "I have reasonable cause to believe there has been a misappropriation of public funds or assets from my agency in regards to operation of the LACE program."
How concerning is that?
It's very concerning to me. Law enforcement are leaders of our community. They are duty to enforce the law. So we hold them to the highest regards.
Working LACE, deputies made $45 an hour, But that money didn't come from the sheriff's budget.
We are concerned that the jury has lost money.
Police Juror Thomas Jones says the Parish Criminal Court Fund paid deputies to work lace overtime. In August, the DeSoto Police Jury passed this resolution asking the Louisiana Legislative Auditor to investigate lace operations in the parish.
And now that audit has started and some things are coming out, and we're going to learn what comes out of that audit because we are concerned that the jury has lost money.
The ongoing legislative audit led Arbuckle to suspend 3 deputies. 2 later resigned and 1 retired. Looking at just 6 months of records, I discovered multiple discrepancies in the timesheets of all 6 deputies I reviewed, but so far, no one else has been placed on administrative leave by Sheriff Arbuckle.
Was there someone overseeing this program in the sheriff's office?
Yes, that person's rank was captain at the time.
These former deputies say department officials in charge of the LACE program turned a blind eye to timesheet discrepancies.
Most of the time, a sergeant did the training.
So long as the number of LACE tickets written matched the number of overtime hours claimed.
You were going to come out and you were going to write citations, and however many citations you wrote, that's how many hours you were going to claim.
So if I wrote 8 citations, I would bill 8 hours.
That's correct, even though it may have taken you only 2 hours to do that.
Digging deeper, I found dozens of potential examples. Deputies writing the same number of tickets as overtime hours billed. Looking closer, you see the pattern. Deputies writing their tickets in just a few hours, but billing 8 to 12 hours of overtime. Part of the problem?
Should it had rules? Yes, it should have had rules.
The DeSoto Parish Sheriff's Office didn't create any written LACE guidelines.
So there was no general order, no standing operating procedure on how deputies were supposed to work that LACE detail?
None.
A fact the Sheriff's Office confirmed to me by email, even though other law enforcement agencies like State Police and the Mansfield Police Department have LACE policies in place.
I don't think every deputy had the intention to be dishonest, but left unchecked, it happens.
But these are supposed to be people who are law enforcement. We trust them to uphold the law, and here they are bending the rules.
That's correct.
If there are some criminal things that are going on, we need to address those things.
That concern has some members of the DeSoto Police Jury seeking a resolution requesting an FBI investigation into LACE.
Come to order.
Jury President Reggie Rowe won't say if he endorses that proposal.
Well, that is the answer of the jury. There has to be a majority vote to approve it. I cannot make that decision by myself. It has to be a majority vote.
How many people are you going to investigate? The fair way to do it would be to investigate every single deputy that worked LACE.
But the former DeSoto deputies tell me they fear no one in a position of authority will be investigated for their alleged part in the growing controversy.
There was people that, was over the rank of corporal and above that was also out there doing the same thing. Not only that, it's hard to believe all this was going on and the administration say they're not aware of it. People should be held accountable for the things that had taken place.
No word when the legislative auditor will wrap up its investigation. Sheriff Arbuckle says his office opened an internal investigation in January and it's ongoing. And despite reports that Louisiana state troopers are investigating the possibility of criminal wrongdoing, state police tell us they are not taking up the case. Doug?
All right, Stacy, and if you have something you want our investigative team to look into, call our tip line. See the number 318-422-1282 or email the I-Team at ksla.com.